Hey everyone, welcome to JetStream Sessions brought to you by Airbridge, the leading mobile measurement partner, MMP, trusted by 700 brands in over 10 countries. I'm Roy, a CEO and co-founder of Airbridge. In this series, we sit down with top minds in the industry, founders, marketers, and tech leaders to unpack the real strategies, frameworks, and lessons driving today's most successful apps. In today's episode, we're diving into one of the most fascinating areas in app growth, subscription app monetization and paywall optimization, with practical insights you can put into action right away. So I'm excited to welcome Vahe, a founder of Paywalls.design, a leading consultancy focused on subscription app revenue growth with extensive experience in paywall design, pricing strategies, and lifecycle marketing. Vahe is also an active voice in the global app growth community. We're excited to dive into his insights today. So Vahe, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for your time. So for the audience, could you start by telling us a little bit about yourself, your background, and your experience in the subscription app space?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for the invite, Roy. I'm happy to be here and chat today about what I do and the monetization strategies for subscriber apps. So I've been in this app growth industry for about 5-6 years now. Worked with many other companies before. One of my latest employees was the Flow Health, which is one of the world's leading subscription app companies. I was working and leading a part of their monetization strategy, which were focused on the win-back revenue, etc., etc. And before that, I also worked with other subscription apps, did a lot of consulting. But beginning of this year, I thought about starting my own firm, and then that's how I kind of founded the Paywalls design, and then left my job at Flow and kind of tried to go all in with my company. Since the start of the company, we worked probably around 100 different apps, helped them to optimize their monetization models, their paywalls, their pricing, and we run end-to-end experiments for our experimentation processes for our clients. When a customer approach, we sit down, do the audit, come up with a strategy, understand how they are benchmarked against the competition, industry, what are their low-hanging fruits, or the areas where we can drive immediate impact by optimizing monetization. So we develop all of the strategies, the revenue strategy, and also come up with experimentation backlog based on what is our goal, and own end-to-end processes of running and executing all of these experiments for our customers.
That's so great. 100 customers already. And
we work very close to 100 customers already since the beginning of the year.
That's really great. That's really great. In such a short period of time.
Yeah.
So that's really good. So it seems like you've had a significant impact on optimizing, monetization for these subscription apps. So there could be many optimization options, ranging from pricing, paywall, customer engagement, and even upsell. So let me ask you this question, as an opener. Amongst these options, which ones are your specialties, and which ones do you believe a subscription app company should prioritize and tackle first?
Mm-hmm. So we handle everything that have to do with the revenue and monetization. So we do take care of the paywall test, which is basically a design and layout test. We take care of price optimization. We take care about the promotion strategy, placement optimizations, lifecycle marketing. So everything that has to do with revenue optimization, we take care of it. But the question is, okay, what you should go first, right? Should you start with a price test? Should you start with a placement test? Should you start with a paywall optimizations? It really depends on two things, actually a few things. One is how big is your app? Second is how much revenue you're making. Third, how terrible is your current paywall? And overall kind of to auditing you to understand what your numbers look like, So usually we start with a paywall test itself, and then the onboarding paywall, in-app placement paywalls, in any other places in the app that you might have paywall. So we start with running a basically the paywall test first, trying to optimize your onboarding paywall and the others you have. and then come up with a new placement opportunities for you, like paywalls after transaction abandonment. When users click on a purchase button, but then they don't complete the transaction, they exit it out. Or add a placement in your home screen. Or add a win-back paywall placement for users who cancel their free trial. So we start with optimizing your paywall, then coming up with new placement opportunities. And then we dive in on upsells and a price test. Price tests are a bit complicated because usually you need to run them for a very long time to really understand how it impacts your LTV. A lot of apps do a mistake when they just run the price tag for 2 weeks or even for a month, and they're like, oh, we're gonna go with this new price. But the thing is, when you are kind of measuring the success of your test, you need to look what's your ARPU and how it is changing. And what's happening, like ARPU is a time variable. It is dependent on the time. So the day 7 ARPU, day 30 ARPU, day 180 ARPU are very different. And if you just run a price test and you make a decision by like your day 7 ARPU or day 30 ARPU, they have, not very high correlation with your long-term LTV. When you do a price test, your goal is to find something that is correlated with your long-term LTV. So usually when we do this price test, we run it for a couple months just to have more conclusive data. And but then for the upsells, there are like many upsell strategies we consider and we execute for our customers. It can be like basic upsells from nudging users towards upgrading from monthly or weekly plans to annuals, or from annuals to lifetime or family. These are very great opportunities, by the way. Or coming up with one-time offers in the app. So we even like a design for you one-time offers that you could upsell to your users or customers. So that there are like a couple kind of different variables on interplay, and we kind of look at this holistically and come up with all of the experimentation ideas and opportunities that we can help our customers to execute.
Wow. This is like very extensive, and like you almost like, cover most of the questions that I'm trying to ask you. So it's really great. And maybe we can, like tackle just one by one.
Sure.
Maybe we can, talk about Paywall first. So you actually just mentioned like several, best practices that any app can try out. And you must have seen a lot of, new trends and best practices emerging. So out of these,
Yes.
like what are some of the most effective and recent trends that you observe in a paywall design and building?
Yeah. So for context, we probably run around like 100 paywall experiments per week. So I saw a lot of paywalls, and I see a lot of paywalls every day. And there are kind of some paywall designs or some techniques with a paywall layout and design that I think it's very applicable for a lot of apps too. So you can kind of we make it so the way we do it, we come up with a new concept, we test among like a few apps, we see it's working, we just extend testing it for other customers too. And it's usually some of these findings we get, it's also applicable for like a wider range of other apps. Doesn't matter the vertical, doesn't matter the industry, etc., etc. But like the thing is, paywall itself is kind of it's effective, but it is most effective when you couple it with also the offer. So like, what is your kind of packaging and what's your offer? You kind of try to, when you combine these two together, it has the highest offer. Kind of just to bring you an example, one of the recent kind of trends of like a paywall optimization that we found very effective is this like a multi-page paywalls. So the way it works is, instead of hitting users with one paywall that says, oh, this is our feature list and this is a price by it, we create for them like an experience when we show them like a multiple screens before hitting them with a main paywall. Like, for example, you see one screen and it says, hey, we want you to try the app for free. And we show the video showcasing how the app works and what is the benefit. They click next. They see another screen that says, don't worry, we'll send you a notification 2 days before your trial ends, so you will not forget to kind of cancel it. And another screen where you can see, for example, the Blinkist timeline, and then the options to buy with the annual and monthly, where there's a free trial and annual. So this is kind of a new, already very, very kind of well-established kind of a layout of a paywall that many apps are testing, including us, and it's like very effective. But it becomes way more effective when we couple it with an offer, which is right. And one of these cases that we just recently did is like very interesting. Is like offering a paid trials. So what happens in your traditional paywall or regular paywall, you have two options usually, right? To buy. You have the free trial on annual and monthly no trial. So what we did, we removed the monthly option. We put another annual option where there's no free trial, but you can pay very little amount of money for the first month to try. And after 1 month, it renews with the annual price. So for the first month, you pay $199. And after 1 month, that $199 offer renews with the annual price. So you're basically having one free trial annual and one with a paid trial. So this is a good offer. So we took this offer, we packaged it with this multi-page paywall, and instead of if you were to get, let's say, like a 10% uplift with this multi-page paywall, now with a right offer, you'll get like a 20% uplift or 15% uplift. So it's not just only about kind of the layout shifts or like how we trying to kind of trick customers, not really. And it's just about finding the right packaging for your premium product with a right offer that can result the highest conversion rate.
Wow, that's really great. And it's such a jam that you mentioned the multi-page paywall, which is becoming very trendy nowadays. And also kind of a multi-step annual plan, like you pay like 1.99 for first month, and then if you don't unsubscribe in the middle, you just turn into the actual annual payment upfront. This is actually a really interesting idea, and it's actually really good to know that all of these trends that you're sharing are very much verified and tested throughout many of your app portfolios.
Yeah, like every kind of a thing I share, we probably tested it at least like 20 times. So, and we do, and it's like stat significant. It's not only just once tested, but like more than dozen of times tested. So like so all of kind of these things I share, like really kind of tested through, and like we have a lot of data to back it.
That makes sense. So we actually talked about some of the, bigger strategies like multi-page and, multi-step, like, packaging. But like, how significant are these small changes to the paywall? Such as like altering the phrase on a call to action button, or maybe changing the layout and elements. Like, do these minor adjustments truly have a measurable impact on a conversion rates? Do you think these small changes matter?
It really depends. It's like both yes and no, because I saw cases when it mattered and it didn't matter, and I probably saw it like equal times. Like for example, we are working with this customer who is an note-taking app for students, and we had this like a multi-page paywall for a long time. We're trying to kind of improve it. We did like 20 tests probably around this paywall that they have, trying to improve it. Nothing really moved the needle so much. And then what we did that was like more effective is like, okay, let's try to personalize, right? So we know that a lot of users who use the product are like students, and we just put their GPA target on a paywall. So before it would say, hey, just get better grades on a paywall. Now it's okay, let's change the get better grades and put their GPA target on the paywall. So on onboarding users, we ask users, oh, what's your GPA target? And a lot of people say, oh, it's 4.0, it's 3.7, it's 3.8, whatever it is. We put on the paywall, it says achieve 4.0 GPA with this product. And it's really, really boosted both ARPU and a conversion rate. Kind of, this is an example of very minor tests that perform very good. But also I have probably like 50 other tests when we changed kind of minor text copies or minor layout change didn't work. So I feel like it's really kind of depends on a product, depends on the target audience. I would advise to test. Probably it's not the first thing I would test, but like I would recommend testing it at some point, yes.
Got it. Well, I think it's the perfect timing to like move on to the next question, as you just mentioned about, personalization.
Yeah.
So, there's a human psychology behind these paywalls, and triggers like, social proof and
Hmm.
personalization are often like used to increase conversions. Like, you know, another like 10,000 people selected this option or something like that. So in your experience, like what are the most powerful triggers to maybe incorporate into a paywall? And you just mentioned that it could be different per, product and,
Hmm.
the app itself, but what are the, right things to do to test out
Yeah.
first?
Yeah. So everyone talks about personalization and they feel like, oh, this is a magic bullet. Like when we personalize the paywall, it's gonna work better. Usually, like the expectations and reality doesn't match. So what happens is like there are some cases you will get a lot of good uplift, but in most of the cases, in like vast majority of cases, probably 90% cases, you will get uplift, but that uplift is not so significant. You would probably get higher uplift if you tested something else than try to personalize a bit the paywall. And but it's fine. Like if you're a big app, right? If you're like Duolingo or you are Flow Health or something, like even like 4% uplift, it's so meaningful for you. It's just because just the high volume you have. It's like very, very meaningful for you. But if you're an app that makes like a 200K MRR, 300K MRR, like 4% additional uplift probably is not so much for you. And there are like more larger bets you can take to get like 20% or 30% uplift. And for personalization, there are like a few things that I found are like the most effective ones. The first one, personalizing the paywall based on the answers users give to you during the onboarding. For example, when you're showing user reviews on your screen, on your paywall page, and on onboarding, people choose their gender, they choose, or do you know where the user is coming from, right? Just show if somebody installs the app from United States and they're like male, you can show reviews from male United States. Or if somebody's from France, female, install your app, show like reviews who are from France and they're from females. This is like one of the things that's like I found very effective. You could get like a single digit uplift by personalizing this, or personalizing based on other onboarding questions. For example, if you have a like weight loss app and users have like target weight to achieve, put the target weight on a paywall, you will still get some sort of uplift. Just kind of trying to, the best way again to personalize it is just to learn something about users during the onboarding and follow up with this information on your paywall. It's like, this is kind of the best personalization you can do. But again, most of the cases do not expect to get like a 20% uplift or double conversion rate. It's usually like single digit uplift.
That's really practical insight. So yeah, so like GPA targets or weight loss targets, those are
Hmm.
those
Yeah.
could work, but only to
Yeah.
the certain limit. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe if we think about these bigger uplifts, I think we cannot miss out, this pricing topic. So
Hmm.
like, common perception that I get around from these founders is that, the common approach is to increase the pricing in countries with low price
Hmm.
elasticity, like in the US, like
Yeah.
people are willing to pay more, so you can increase the price. Whereas like those countries like that are having like a high price elasticity, you may want to just lower it down to increase the LTV. So do you agree or disagree with this kind of approach, and like why?
Well, the localized pricing um, is a good strategy. So usually it's effective, but also one thing that people kind of don't take into account is like how your conversion rate change when you drop your prices. For example, your product, costs like a $50 in the US, and you want to introduce your product in South America, and you'll be like, okay, now I have like a, let's say 1% conversion rate in South America. We're gonna drop the price to $25 instead of 50, and we'll hope to get the conversion rate up, right? So what happens? Your conversion rate need to go up like at least 2 times to make up for the revenue difference. So when you are, because you're discounting your price by half, so you will get, even if you don't get enough uplift in the conversion rate, you might lose revenue. because you already kind of discounted your price by half. So when you're doing the localized price, I would suggest to always kind of do the math to understand, do the math, and also do it as an A/B test to understand how your ARPU changes. Because like if you drop it too much and your conversion don't go up as significant to catch up with this price change, you lose money. That's generally that was my advice. Just test it. You test it and do the math. If you don't do it, there's a high chance you might lose money. But in general, like the localized pricing is kind of a very good strategy. You could go on extreme also to kind of do age-based pricing or occupation-based pricing, but like there are some fine lines in between. You need to understand, like, if you can, like for example, in EU, if I'm not mistaken, you cannot have like age-based pricing. So you need to kind of also understand what the kind of legal challenges of the specific jurisdiction. But like if it allows, like age-based price tests are very, very effective. It's very, very effective because especially when you have an audience that comes from like younger age demographics, like under 18 or 18 to 24. And that's like, there are very price sensitive segments because they don't have enough disposable income to spend on your product. So you usually want to have like a lower price for these customers and a higher price for like a much more like older audiences, or do based on the occupation. If you know somebody's student and somebody's a professional, right? You can have different prices for each. And this one is totally legal, like a student-based prices, or like it's common everywhere, so there's nothing to worry about it. And then, I mean, it will all really help you to kind of shape your pricing model and kind of come up with a price point that is the most applicable and convenient, both for you to optimize and find the optimal kind of conversion rate for your business, but also is convenient for the customers to upgrade.
That makes perfect sense. I definitely understand that there must be a trade-off between the price unit and the conversion rate. So, these two, factored in, leading to actual ARPU that you're observing should be the final goal of this test.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Got it. So you actually just like in the beginning of our conversation, you mentioned that, sometimes like founders or, the marketers, they do the testing, but they're not patient enough to wait for like 2 to 3 months of a time to see whether this test result is concrete or not. So in terms of that, and also from the other perspectives, what is the biggest pitfall that you see developers and companies encounter when they begin price optimization?
I think probably just not waiting. This is the best. This is the most dangerous one. This is super dangerous because like if you just make a conclusion based on your 7-day data, it's like it's super unreliable. It can hurt you like in a couple months, and this is kind of the biggest kind of pitfall related to kind of a price test, to be honest. Other stuff than that, I mean, probably in that the second thing is when they test very close prices, like $40 versus $42. And again, if you are a mid-size app, that additional $2 difference is not gonna be meaningful for you. There are many other big opportunities there that you can experiment with and like increase your conversion at ARPU by like a 2-digit or even more. And just focusing on like doing this $40 versus $42 test, it's at some point you can do it. If you are out of ideas or you don't know what to test next, probably you can do that. But like the impact of it is just not gonna be as significant.
I see. Like one kind of like side question to that is like 2 months is such a long time. So of course like you should be patient, but if the velocity of the test is undermined because of this duration, then it's also an opportunity loss as well. So in this case, would you advise them to run these multiple tests at the same time, or would you just tell them to do one at a time?
No, still just for pricing, it's just the way it works. Like it's you either do it or you don't do it. The way if you have enough traffic, the one thing that you could do is just like take 20% of your traffic out, run the test on the 20% of traffic and leave it there for like 3 months. And then you continue to do all of your experimentations on the remaining like 80% of the traffic. It takes a lot of time. It's but it requires a lot of patience, and there is maybe an opportunity cost. But like you either do it or you don't do it. There's just one right way to do it, and if you just conclude your test, like it's very, very simple. For the paywall designs and like a placement optimization test, it's fine. It's like it doesn't really, it's not, there is the chance to hurt you is not that much if you kind of conclude a bad test, at least in the first couple of months, and then you easily can notice and then kind of revert it back. For prices, it's like it's super dangerous. It can cause like refunds. You don't know what's gonna be your refund rate if you just stop the test after like 7 days. You don't know what's going to be the renewal rate. You don't know what's going to be the, I don't know, if you're using Web 2 apps, you don't know what's gonna be your disputes, and like all of this stuff is like it's so complicated with a price test. It's like if you don't give it like enough time, you'll never know how it's really gonna impact your business.
That's really great advice. So you either do it or not do it. If you do it, you need to be committed.
Yeah, if you want to do it, you got to do it in the right way. If you don't want to do it, just then do other tests. Don't do price tests. There are many, many other things you can do.
Awesome. Like maybe the last like topic that we want to discuss today is actually about upsell. And one of the topics that I got really impressed by, our conversation last time is about upsell. So I actually think that, upsell and these offers are often, the most underrated monetization techniques.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So would you mind actually a little bit elaborating more on that, more on the importance of, upsell strategies?
Yeah. So I bet you go to any category in App Store, download the top like 50 apps from each category. For like less than 10% of them offer any sort of upsells. And this is like so missed opportunity. And they're like very basic things that you can start doing with upsell too, right? If you have a lot of users on weekly and monthly packages, one of the basic things you can do, just try to upgrade them to annual. And even when you have like annual users, try to upgrade them to lifetime or family plans. Like you will get some users to do that, and you will get an additional revenue and increase the user LTV. Like one of the most interesting kind of strategies we started to test recently is offering a lifetime purchase or a family plan upgrade purchase right after user make the first purchase. So when user comes, they buy annual plan, we hit them with another offer that says, hey, if you want, you can upgrade to the lifetime, and by just paying another like $50, you can have the product for forever. And what happens, user has already paid, let's say $20 for the annual plan, right? Now you're offering them a $50 for like lifetime plan. If they opt in for it, you already got like $70 from these users. And usually, I saw many cases for our customers that they can get up to like 10% conversion rate. And if it's the case for you, additional 10% can be a lot of money. And then, but the trick with a lifetime is like when user upgrades for a lifetime, they need to go to their App Store settings, cancel their original subscription. So we come up with a flow that shows users after a lifetime upgrade, hey, this is how you need to go back to the App Store settings to cancel your original subscription, etc., etc. So you will not be double charged all the time. But that's like a technical nuances and caveats. But like the strategy itself is okay. Let's take this lifetime offer or the family plan offer, and let's ask them if they will upgrade. And like I'm telling you, you'll be surprised to see what percentage of users do it, and they do it for a variety of reasons. These are the most basic things you can do with Upsell. And if you use a tool like Super Bowl or Revenue Cut or any other like a Paywall Builder tool, you can get this test up and running in matter of hours. Like if you have the product ID set up on an App Store, you can get a test like this running in a couple hours. Like super easy to do it. But you can also go on and let's do more advanced upsells, right? And the more advanced upsells works in a way that like we come up with a new features or we do a new product and we upsell to the existing users. It can be for health and fitness apps, what I usually see, it can be like a nutrition guide. It can be body scans. It can be many, many other things that you can just develop and have it as an in-app purchase and get user to pay an additional like a $20 to upgrade to it. And then especially when you, and I found this way more effective when you have older demographic of users, because they have higher purchasing power and they can afford to spend an additional like a $10 or $20 or an add-on, versus the people who are like 18 or younger, or like 18 and 24, who don't have like a much disposable income. But the way you do it, you can talk to the users and then come up with the features, do some kind of research to understand what to build, and use this intel to build like a one-time purchases and upsell to your existing users.
Wow, this is so great. So weekly to monthly, monthly to annual, annual to lifetime, and family plans. That's really great. And mostly like people's like common perception is annual is the end of the world. However, as you mentioned, like lifetime packages or like family plans can certainly work as another letter above that.
People, a lot of founders or growth people, they think annual is the ceiling, but it's not near to the ceiling. Like there's so much things you can do, at least like getting user to upgrade for a lifetime or family. And after that, there's like endless opportunities to do like one-time purchases and upsell.
Got it. So, like maybe wrapping up today's conversation, I just want to ask you a couple of more questions.
Sure.
Like even now and looking ahead, like 2 to 3 years from now, what do you see as the biggest disruptor in a subscription and monetization space?
Definitely, it's gonna sound cliche, but like AI definitely it changes the entire landscape of kind of a consumer apps right now. You're having more competition, you're having a less defensibility. A lot of new apps are coming in that makes kind of operating a business expensive. So you will get all of your profit margins to go down. And if you don't have the right pricing, you don't have the right revenue model, it's hard to get away. Because you start running all of your ads and stuff. They're not ROI positive because you don't have the right, because your CAC is expensive, because of all of the competition, and your paywall is not converting well, and your pricing is wrong, and your revenue strategy has issues. So I think increasing competition is going to be very challenging for the apps that don't have they don't have like a well optimized revenue strategy.
Got it. Yeah, AI is just disrupting everything, destroying and constructing at the same time in bad ways. And I think that you're right about these increasing competition, that we see a lot of these apps just like poured into the each category as the AI development accelerate things, and as the AI kind of opens a lot of new possibilities of building new categories of apps. So totally agree with that. And like for the last question, what is your single most important piece of advice that you want to give to the founders today about monetization? And for those who are looking to work with you and your team, what's the best way for them to get in touch or learn more about your services?
I think, the best advice is just don't be afraid of do monetization tests, to be honest, and don't neglect doing it. Because I speak with a lot of founders and they're like, oh, we have very good paywall, and they really do have. Some of them really do have. I was speaking with some founder the other day. He had really good paywall, and I was like, okay, this is good, but it can be better. Like it doesn't have to be stopped here. Like there is like endless opportunities and optimization you can do. And sometimes I meet like two kind of founders. The first is like they have terrible paywalls, but they don't want to do it, and there's some good founders have very good paywalls. And they don't want to continue because they're convinced it's the ceiling. It's not the ceiling. Like you can endless optimize your paywall. Obviously, at some point you start to get diminishing returns, but I don't think you are there yet. And well, the best way to reach out us, which we are actually rebranding the company. We just we're rebranding the company. You can reach us out either through me on Twitter, on LinkedIn, or just go to our website. It's paywall.design. But if you go, it's going to redirect you now to our new website with a new company. It's called Tangent Growth. There you'll find all of our services. You can immediately kind of subscribe to one of the packages that we offer, see our clients' reviews, etc., etc. But if you want to talk or even also like a schedule a call with me to chat about monetization. Otherwise, like LinkedIn or Twitter, especially Twitter is kind of the best way to reach me out.
Yep. For those who are listening, please, definitely stay tuned for their new, company rebranding, as well as please follow Vahe on LinkedIn and X, and you can reach to him all the time on these channels. Mm-hmm. So I actually really feel that all of the advice that you gave out today are really super helpful and practical, and I really hope that the founders can get, something out of this conversation. So thank you, Vahe, for taking your time, and hopefully more founders get, bolder, braver to test out these monetization techniques in the future.
Thanks, Roy, for having me today. I had a pleasure to chat.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.